All right, thanks, guys, and welcome to my last upload of the day. Now, before we get into today's NHL action, just want to say once again, for the fourth and final time, congratulations to my Patreon members today, who went 3-1 yesterday in our premium picks on that website, which is going to put us at 3-0 in our last 3 NBA package tier plays on that site. Link for that website is in the description section below. Once again, that is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here in some NHL action. So let's go ahead and begin with the Flames taking on the Wild. And that is going to be a 5 o'clock Eastern puck drop in Minnesota. The Wild, they are minus 125, totals at 6. We saw a nickel move toward Minnesota and movement downward on the total. The Wild open $1.20 up to minus 125. Total open 6.5 down to 6 flat. 54% are leaning Minnesota, 71% shaded toward the over. Right now, Calgary's plus 105 on the money line. Minnesota plus $1.90 on the puck line. Calgary's dropped 3 out of their last 4 games. They rank in the bottom 5 in road scoring. Minnesota is 9-2-3 at home, top 10 in home scoring. And 9 out of Minnesota's last 14 at home did get over the total. I'm going to lean Minnesota Wild minus 125 and the over 6 goals in that game. Next matchup, Capitals taking on the Bruins. 7 o'clock Eastern puck drop in Boston. The Bruins are the $1.30 favorite at home. Totals at 6. Not a whole lot of movement on this total, although we did see a 10-cent move toward Boston in the early wagering. The Bruins open $1.20 up to minus 130. Totals at 6. 51% are leaning Boston, 72% shaded toward the over. Right now, Washington is plus $1.10 on the money line. Boston plus $2, laying the goal and a half. Now, if you want to lay the goal and a half with Boston at home here, just keep in mind they're 9-12 against the spread at home, 1-8 straight up in their last 9. Washington on the other side, winners in 8 out of their last 10 themselves. They're also 16-3 and 1 on the road this year. Now Washington's 23-14 to the over on the season. Give me the Capitals plus $1.10 and the over 6 goals in that contest. Next game, Flyers hosting the Rangers, 7 o'clock Philadelphia. The Flyers are 190, totals at 6. 15-cent move toward the Flyers, movement downward on the total. Flyers open 175 up to 190. Total open 6.5 down to 6. Rangers are plus $1.65 on the money line. Philadelphia plus 135 on the puck line. Phillies won their last 3 straight. They're 12-2-4 at the Wells Fargo Center this year. The Rangers have dropped 4 out of their last 6 themselves. They also rank in the bottom 3 in shots allowed. New York's 9-7 to the under when traveling. Give me the Flyers minus 1.5 and the under 6 goals in that game. And before I go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Monday's NHL action. But before we dive into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we went 3-1 in our premium picks on that website yesterday. That's going to put us at 3-0 in our last 3 daily double package plays on that site. We're also 3-0 in our last 3 crowd pleaser teasers, and we're also 3-0 in our last 3 NBA package picks on that site. Now, we do daily picks on that website beginning at just $1.99 per month. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. And if you want to check out my current Patreon record, you can do that for free right now. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. It's right on the homepage. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some more free lines and personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Panthers taking on the Lightning, 7 o'clock Tampa Bay. The Lightning are $1.80, total 6.5, 15-cent move toward Tampa Bay. Lightning open 165 up to 180, total 6.5, 62% on the Lightning, 72% on the over. Florida's plus 160, Tampa's plus 140 on the puck line. Tampa's dropped 3 out of their last 4 games. They're also just 6-12 against the spread at the Amalie Arena. Florida, on the other side, winners in their last 3 straight. They're also 10-5 against the spread when traveling. Florida 67% to the over on the road. Tampa 14-4 to the over at home. Give me the Panthers plus 1.5 and the over 6.5 in that contest. Next game, Columbus taking on the Islanders, 7 o'clock, Long Island. New York's minus 165, total at 5. Nickel fade of New York, movement downward on the total. Islanders open $1.70 down to 165, total open 5.5 down to 5 even. 55% are leaning Islanders, 74% toward the over. Columbus is plus 145 on the money line. Islanders plus $1.60 on the puck line. New York just 7-11 against the spread at home. They rank dead last in offensive shots. Now Columbus on the other side, 11-5 against the spread when traveling, winners of their last 4 straight games. New York's 22-12 to the under on the year. Give me Columbus plus 1.5 and the under 5 goals in that contest. Next game, Sabres taking on the Senators, 7:30 Eastern puck drop in Ottawa. Buffalo's $1.20, total 6.5. 10-cent move toward the Sabres, movement upward on the total. Buffalo open $1.10 up to minus 120. Total open 6 up to 6.5. 68% are leaning Buffalo, 69% toward the over. Ottawa's catching even money on the money line. Buffalo plus a 210 on the puck line. Once again, Buffalo plus 210 on the puck line. Buffalo 12-8 against the spread when traveling, 4-3 straight up in their last 7. Ottawa bottom 10 in scoring, bottom 3 in shots allowed. Buffalo's 12-8 to the over when traveling. Give me the Sabres minus 120 and the over 6.5 in that contest. Next matchup, Canadiens, Jets, 8 o'clock Winnipeg. The Jets are $1.15, total at 6. Nickel fade of Winnipeg, movement upward on the total. Jets open $1.20 down to 115, total open 5.5 up to 6. 68% are leaning Winnipeg, 74% toward the over. Right now, Montreal's minus 105 on the money line. Winnipeg plus 205, laying the goal and a half. Now, Winnipeg's just 6-12 against the spread at home, bottom 5 in home scoring. Montreal top 3 in offensive shots, 12-5 against the spread when traveling. Montreal 10-7 to the over on the road. Give me the Canadiens minus 105 and the over 6 goals in that contest. Next matchup, Coyotes taking on the Preds, 8 o'clock Nashville. The Predators are $1.50, total at 6. 10-cent move toward Nashville, movement upward on the total. Nashville open $1.40 up to 150, total open 5.5 up to 6. 58% on the Coyotes, 69% on the over. Arizona's plus 130 on the money line. Nashville plus $1.65 on the puck line. Nashville just 8-11 against the spread at home, bottom 10 in goals allowed. Arizona 15-5 against the spread when traveling. They're allowing just 2.4 goals per contest away from home. Arizona 13-7 to the under on the road. Give me the Coyotes plus 1.5 and the under 6 goals in that contest. Next game, Devils taking on the Blackhawks. And that is going to be an 8:30 Eastern puck drop in Chicago. The Blackhawks are $1.60, total at 6. Nickel fade of Chicago in the early betting. They open $1.65 down to minus 160. Totals at 6 goals. 76% are leaning Chicago, 72% on the over. Devils are plus 140 on the money line. Chicago plus 155, laying the goal and a half. Chicago winners in 3 out of their last 4. Meanwhile, New Jersey losers in 8 out of their last 10. They've also dropped 11 out of their 17 matchups away from home. And total-wise, Chicago on the other side, 12-7 to the under on the home ice. Give me Chicago minus 160, under 6 goals. Next matchup, Oilers, Canucks, 10 o'clock Vancouver. The Canucks are $1.40, total at 6. Nickel move toward Vancouver in the early wagering. The Canucks open $1.35 up to 140, total at 6. 54% on the Oilers, 71% on the over. Edmonton's plus $1.20 on the money line. Vancouver plus $1.80, laying the goal and a half. Vancouver just 2-3 straight up in their last 5, bottom 10 in home shots. Edmonton 14-6 against the spread on the road, top 5 in goals allowed on the road as well. Edmonton 13-7 to the under when traveling. Give me the Oilers plus 1.5 and the under 6 goals in that contest. Next matchup, Avalanche, Golden Knights, 10 o'clock Vegas. The Knights are $1.25, total at 6. 10-cent move toward Vegas, movement upward on the total. Golden Knights open $1.15 up to 125. Total open 5.5 up to 6. 53% are leaning Colorado, 91% on the over. Right now, Colorado's plus 105 on the money line. Vegas plus 205 on the puck line. Vegas just 7 out of their last 19 games at home they covered. They're also 20th in home goals allowed. Colorado top 3 in scoring, 12-6-1 when traveling. Give me Colorado plus 105 and the over 6 goals in that game. And I'm going to slide to my next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Blues Kings, 10 o'clock, Los Angeles. The Blues are 145, total 5.5. 10-cent fade of St. Louis. They open $1.55 down to minus 145, totals 5.5. 57% leaning towards St. Louis, 74% shaded toward the over. The Kings are plus 125 on the money line. St. Louis plus $1.80 on the puck line. St. Louis 11-4-3 on the road, 5-0 straight up in their last 5. They're allowing just 2.6 goals per contest. Kings on the other side, bottom 3 in scoring, 20th in goals allowed. Kings are 11-6 to the under on their home ice. Give me the Blues minus 145 and the under 5.5 in that game. Of course, I'm going to slide to my quick pick recap. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where we went 3-1 yesterday in our premium selections on that website. I like the Blues minus 145, under 5.5. Edmonton plus 1.5, under 6 goals. Colorado plus 105, over 6 goals. Chicago minus 160, under 6 goals. Montreal minus 105, over 6 goals. Arizona plus 1.5, under 6 goals. Once again, that's Arizona plus 1.5, under 6 goals. Buffalo minus 120, over 6.5. Washington plus 110, over 6 goals. Philadelphia minus 1.5, under 6 goals. Florida plus 1.5, over 6.5. Columbus Blue Jackets plus 1.5, under 5 goals. Once again, that's Columbus Blue Jackets plus 1.5, under 5 goals. And last but certainly not least, I like Minnesota minus 125 and the under. Damn, Brock. I like Minnesota minus 125 and the over 6 goals in that game. Once again, that's Minnesota minus 125 and the over 6 goals in that game.